Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Intelligent Moron with Alex Silva. I am your host, Alex Silva. I hope everybody's having a good day. Good week. I think I am. I'm having a pretty good week. It's March 4th. It's already March. Can you believe that already? It's already March. It feels like a couple weeks ago it was like New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. Or at least like mid-January. It doesn't feel like it's already March. It's so weird. Like we're closely approaching the 1 year anniversary of being of coronavirus, of COVID-19. We're slowly approaching that 1 year mark of when it all happened and when it all went down. And I'm sure like maybe like even like it occurred before then, but like March 23rd, I think, or March 6th, some mid to late March number, 16 through 24, I think, is when we really like we went into lockdown. I think it wasn't like, I can't remember, I don't remember the exact date that we went on lockdown in the United States, but it's coming close. It's crazy though. Like you kind of remember like how it was on that day and what you felt like on that day. When it sunk in, like, hey, coronavirus is an epidemic. There might not be an issue in the States. It might be, maintained. It might be controlled. And then all of a sudden, I remember it. I think it was the very first thing that went into lockdown, or they postponed it or stopped it. It was the NBA. I remember it. I was watching. I think I was about to watch the game. It was between the Dallas Mavericks and I can't remember who else who they were playing, but it was the Dallas Mavericks. I'm pretty sure it was the Dallas Mavericks, and they pretty much just stopped the broadcast and said like, we're not gonna play today. The game's been postponed. They said postponed at the time, and I remember just seeing like Mark Cuban looking at his phone, and saying, and then getting the news that right then and there that the NBA season was postponed. And I remember sitting there like, holy crap, this has never happened before. I think like this is like never really happened in modern times, modern sports, modern everything really. And I just remember sitting there like, okay, well this has got to be freaking like really, really serious then, because if they're shutting the NBA down, not canceling it, but postponing it indefinitely, like the season in general, I was thinking to myself like, this is going to be weird. This is going to be really, really weird. Then all of a sudden, everything else was getting shut down. Other sporting leagues were getting shut down. Movies were getting canceled. Like I remember the first movie that was postponed, the Fast and the Furious 9 or F9, whatever you want to call it, that got postponed an entire year. Like not even like a few months, not even like a quarter, not even like 6 months, just a straight up whole year basically. That was the first movie to get pulled from the release date, and I was just like, okay, well, this is gonna suck. But yeah, it's already becoming a year. March 4th, as I'm recording. Hopefully this goes up tonight. But yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. I just like it's hard for me to imagine, like even like back in like June and July. I remember like when I was on my previous podcast, I was saying like, man, it's so weird that I think I'm just walking around like my house. Sometimes I go to the store and everything, and the news headlines are still like global pandemic, case totals, death totals, dips. You remember what was the phrase that they said? Flattening the curve. I think that was one thing. I remember those days way back in March and April. That was weird too. And now just to think that now we're in March 2021, and it's crazy, man. It's coming to a year now, which is insane because I never thought it would have been this long. I never would have thought that it would have taken this long to get a hold of this virus, or to do all this stuff, to put all these things into motion, to enforce lockdowns, enforce a different way of living, enforce all this still continuing. To be honest with you, I thought that the pandemic would have ended like I was hoping like maybe June or July, because then we were getting like information about like how the sun, the UV rays, prevent the virus from spreading. and then stuff like that. Then I'm like, okay, well, summer's almost over, and now it's entering fall, so that's not a good thing. And then you hear about all these things about Thanksgiving, and then Christmas, and then New Year's, and restrictions, and like be outdoors and all that. And it's just like, wow, our lives have changed so much in this span of time. Nearly like almost going to be a year. Our lives have changed so much within this span of time that's coming up right now. And it's crazy to reflect on it, because like you think about like these things, and you think about what you could do back then, what you can't do really, or what you'll be, maybe you do one thing and it leads to another, and you don't want to get sick. And yes, I don't want to get sick or anything like that, but it's just weird how like people nowadays, are remembering, like if you see like a meme, I love the memes when they say like me in March 1st, 2020, all happy and, optimistic and wanting to do things, and, having, what's the word I'm looking for? Aspirations or like goals in life. And then you shift over to March 2021, and then it's a guy like all, out of weight, depressed, sad, whatever. These are all memes and stuff like that. So if you'll see like I'll try to translate it. If you see like a SpongeBob meme or something like that, you'll see like a 2021 a happy Squidward, and then 2020 happy Squidward in 2020, then a sad like beaten up Squidward in 2021. It's just like I've seen a lot of those, and it's just like, man, I know it's a meme and it's like hurtless and it's like, just for fun, playful and all that, but it's just like, oh yeah, I remember that. Or now that really hits home. It really hits to how today's been. The year has been, and it's just like, oh man, I can't wait to go back to normal. Can't wait. But the thing is about like being in the lockdown and all that and isolation. Just even now today, if you're not like super locked down or whatever, I don't even know if like we're in a lockdown, to be honest with you. I think we are technically, even though the things are opening. So like, are we in lockdown or not? I have no idea. I haven't looked on the CDC or whatever. I don't even know where you would see like if we are on lockdown. I'm not sure. But I, even on lockdown, you still got to go to the store. You got to go get some food and all that. And this isn't like a story of being like encountered by somebody who's like a crazy person at the store or anything like that. But it's just like this is what I've realized, is that prices of items, food, utilities, whatever, are going up pretty insanely lately. It's really, really weird. Like yesterday, I went to the store and I bought a tube of toothpaste, and it wasn't even like a jumbo pack. It was just like a normal a normal pack of Colgate toothpaste. And I use Colgate. My family uses Crest. I use Colgate because my dentist gives me Colgate. I figure if I do that, then my teeth would look better. And you know what? I think that they do look better. They look nicer. They have this whitening thing that does its job, I think. I think my teeth look pretty good. And I just use that toothpaste. So, and whenever like somebody goes and buys like a pack of like toothpaste at Costco, I'm like, I'll buy my own because this is what my dentist gives me. I'm gonna use that. Maybe it'll be better for my teeth, my gums, my oral health, whatever. So I go to the store, and I'm looking down the aisle, and the aisle is, it's not the biggest selection of toothpaste there. I went to the grocery store. I was going to go to the pharmacy area, but I decided not to because I had to pick some stuff up at the grocery store, and just, decided to do the 2-for-1, 2 birds with one stone. Just do it there, get it over with, and then go home. Because I going to the store, it's not like I'm afraid of seeing people there. I'm not that person that gets terrified of going to the store, at least. Usually when I don't want to go to the store, it's because I'm lazy as hell. And I don't want to go to the store, and I'm just like, ugh, I don't want to go there, even though I have to go there. I'm always like, dang, I don't want to go. This is torturous. But you know what? Whatever, let's go. Fine, whatever. So I get to the store, and I get to the toothpaste, and I see the price of this toothpaste, man. It's insane. It is so... The price is ridiculous. Now, it's just one... Now, try to picture in your head. Just a simple, basic tube of toothpaste, Colgate, whitening. It's not even that, like, I don't even think it's like that the premium one. The other ones weren't even that much better. I think that they were kind of the same. They all just like had like a little bit of a different whitening to it, I think. But I got the pretty basic one, and it cost me $8. I was thinking to myself, why is this toothpaste cost so much money, bro? Like literally, it's just like one little like maybe like I don't know like a 6-7 inch tube of toothpaste, and that was it. Like this is nothing. Like why does this cost so much money? Then I was with my brother, and he bought like a stick of chapstick. That cost $3, like around $3. I was like, what is happening? Why are these prices so outrageous? Like toothpaste is like pretty essential, right? I mean, you use it to brush your teeth. You don't have to have a permit to use it. You don't need a prescription. It's pretty much there to just help your teeth have look good and not stink up the joint with your breath, right? A good dental hygiene. But then again, it costs $8 for like a single small tube of toothpaste. And I'm sitting there like, why is this so expensive? I don't understand that. I just thought that was so baffling. Like this little tube of toothpaste cost me $8, bro. You know how many McChickens I can buy with that? With $8? Now, I understand that the toothpaste is going to last me like around maybe a month and a half, maybe 2 months at the most, I think. But still, man, just looking at it like in your hands, how small that is, and like just knowing that this cost me $8. This cost me $8, and I get it. Like you think about it, it's like, man, like you don't take into consideration of how long this one tube is gonna last you, because you see it initially in the store, and then you're like, this is $8 for toothpaste, but then you're like, oh wait, it's gonna last me like 2 months. So I should be good on toothpaste for a while, right? But then it's always like a pain in the ass to buy it still, because it's going to cost you $8 ridiculous for clean teeth. And then that's not even the worst part, dude. I didn't pick it up, but I did pick it up there. But I saw at a pharmacy one time like a 3-pack of tooth. No, what is it called? Floss. The floss. It was like a 3-pack. It wasn't like a cheap brand that you would get, like a cheap kind that you would get at the dentist or whatever. It was a pretty nice pack. It was like Glide, I think. It was like very smooth string. It doesn't like hurt your gums or whatever. It's good for it's not very coarse or whatever. It's smooth. It's a good pack, but it costs like $16 for like a 3-pack, I think, maybe even more. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, this is outrageously priced, man. This is outrageous, and I understand that. I floss my teeth every day, so I run out of floss, and I also share the floss, and I would have I would say like a floss would last me like around maybe 3 to 4 months, if that, like that pack, I think, maybe even less, I think, because maybe 2 months, maybe 2.5 months, because I wouldn't use a lot of floss either. I'm not like a person that would get like just so much floss out of the packet, like, because I know how much it costs and it's expensive. And I don't want to be like the guy who just uses so much floss, because you don't need that much floss. And I don't like using those little picks either. Those little picks like with like the spike at the bottom where you can like use it to scrub your teeth or like pick at your teeth, and then like this little like a half a like a quarter of an not even a quarter, but like a half of an inch of floss in this little like plastic green thing. I don't think that I don't like using those, because those feel like they run out of like the sometimes the floss will have like a little bit of a minty flavor on it, which I think that works better with using on your teeth, because sometimes I think that the root of a lot of smelly breath could be like potentially because of food that you accumulate in the back of your teeth, your molars in the very back. If you don't floss your teeth all that much, it builds up. And especially like if you go like one day, like when I go like floss them in the morning and then try to do it at night, like before I go to bed, if I forget, usually that night, that next morning, oh my God, it's horrible. It's so bad, because that food buildup in those molars, you don't notice it really, and you can't really pick it out with your tongue, because it's if it's jammed in there, and you like, and if it's always the ones that you don't notice, because like the ones you notice, obviously you're gonna pick it out. But even though when I go with the floss, there's always still some food there that was left over. I'm like, how did I not feel this? This is disgusting. And it's just like rotting, whatever, meat, just in there. Like usually it's meat for me, but like, you can have like a spinach, lettuce, whatever that's in there. And when you have that in there, I think it creates a pretty gnarly smell after a while. And you got to be able to. I encourage everybody to floss, unless your doctor says, "Hey, you don't floss that much. Don't floss this much." Then listen to your doctor. But usually, I think that they would tell you to floss daily at least, because it does help with the smelliness of breath, and it keeps your gums nice and clean. Because if you go to the dentist and then they're like, "Oh, the worst thing is like when they test or check your gum." I don't even know what it is, but they pick at him and then they yell at a number like 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. I'm not sure what are the good numbers, but I remember like being in there and having pretty not so good gums. I'm like, what the hell am I doing wrong? I floss like every day, but what do I do wrong? So I asked her. She said like, well, are you not just like going through the teeth, but are you like actually like massaging the thing with the gum with the floss? I'm like, what do you mean by that? Like, can I go up and down on the gum a couple times so it gets like a little bit of a, I don't even know what you would call it, but I guess a workout or whatever, so it's not so weak. So when they poke at them, if they accidentally poke at them, you don't bleed to death. But I did that, and I tried doing that, and then I went back after 6 months, and then I noticed like, oh, they gotten a lot better. They're not like these super high crazy numbers. They're now lower. I think, whichever way is a good number or not. They were reversed, so they were pretty good the next time. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Well, now I know how to floss better. No one ever told me that, which is weird because, like, I don't know if you go to the dentist and ask, hey, doc, how can I improve better on my dental hygiene? What do I do? Usually when I go to the dentist, I'm just like in and out, rarely say anything. Hey, how you doing? Oh, I'm good. I'm doing this, doing that. Teeth look good? Okay, goodbye. Thank you, that's it. That's usually the dental visit with me usually, so I'm just like, okay, whatever. But I've never really asked. This time I was like, well, what am I doing wrong? Like, what am I doing? What can I improve better on my dental health hygiene? And they told me that, and I was like, okay, that makes a lot of sense, because like sometimes these dentists will I don't think that they do it on purpose, but sometimes I think that they do. They will literally go charge into your gums with that prick, that pokey stick, and just like literally stab your gums to death sometimes. And I don't know if they do it on purpose, because I feel like they should know better not to do that, because that causes pain. And then you start to bleed, and it's like, well, this is embarrassing. You're trying to clean my teeth when I'm leaking blood. What am I doing here? You know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, I think that they do it like, it also might depend if this person who's doing it is relatively new or not. If they're like seasoned and been doing it for a while, usually that doesn't happen, and usually it's like a mess up. But I think that they do it sometimes just to check and make sure that the gums can withstand a little bit of a poke. Because if they can't, then they're not going to be very strong. They can lead to gum disease and all that. So you don't want that. But I get that. But it's also it's like it's like a trial through fire. You're like, all right, let's check out your teeth. I'm gonna give you a teeth cleaning, but also a bit of a butchering to see if that they could withstand some pokiness. Let's see if they can withstand this poker that we got here. And man, I'll tell you this, man. Sometimes they can get you, and then you'll like jolt in your chair, like, oh, did I hurt you? Yeah, you did, but you can't say anything because your mouth is like, you know what I mean? But oh man, like I remember like one time I went to the dentist and I had to get 2 cavities removed at once, and they're like, oh, so how do you want to do this? I'm like, well, we gotta take them out, right? Like, well, yeah, but how do you want to do it? Like, I come in for one and then the other another day. Like, oh no, we'll do them. We could do them both on the same day. I'm like, okay, well, is that normal? Like, yeah, we do it all the time. I'm like, okay, cool. Remind you, this is in 2013. I've never had a cavity in my life. At the time, I was 19, I believe, 19 or 20, and I'd never had a cavity, and I was just like, I've never done this before. I've never had this, and I've known people who have had multiple cavities that have been going through this. I'm like, how do you even get that? Do you just not brush, or your teeth weak? What's happening? But I remember going in, and for the first time, I'm nervous as heck. I'm nervous because they said that they were going to put me they were going to numb me up and possibly sedate me. I can't remember what they said. But when they gave me some shots in my mouth, and oh my god, that hurt so bad. I mean, that was just painful, bro. I don't know if you guys have ever had well, cavities are pretty common, but I was not into that pain, man. That was some excruciating pain. I've never had shots in my mouth to numb me up, but those were painful as heck, man. Those were so painful. But then after that, the medicine kicks in, then you can't feel shit. The side of your mouth is like numb. Your jaws are numb. You can't. You don't even know if your mouth is open at the time. But they put this like little I don't even know what you call it, contraption to hold your mouth open because you can't feel it. So you don't know if your mouth is open. They got to put it open for you. And then they put this thing on my nose. Like it was like a little. Imagine like a bottle cap or Gatorade bottle cap, and they put it. It's that size, not like it looks like it, but it's like that size. They put it on you, and then they had it on me, but it wasn't like to put me to sleep. I don't think. I think it was just so I could breathe and have some oxygen because there was a lot of people just around my mouth, and when they started to dig in, like they actually got a drill. I saw them get the actual drill. You know how in a cartoon, like you'll see like an actual like, oh, what is it, like an actual like screw driving drill, like on the side of the on the table where they have the tools at, like, and you think as a kid this is good because they want you to know that getting a cavity is not a good thing because you want to keep your teeth clean and healthy. You want to have some good dental hygiene. So that struck fear into me as a kid. And I'm like, well, I don't want to get my teeth drilled. And then when I, unfortunately got a cavity and I saw like, oh my God, they weren't lying. Like it's not as big as an actual screw driving drill, but it was an actual drill. So I was like, holy crap, this is going to be bad. And at first they started a drill, it's much more high pitched, but like they started that. And then I felt like a little bit of a cold sensation in my mouth still. I'm like, should I be feeling this? What's happening? And then they continue to, you can't say anything and you don't want to, disturb them because there are literally like 3 people around me. Like one has like one's giving the tools. One is like making sure my mouth doesn't open or close on the with the contraption, and then the actual doctor who's performing the cavity removal, whatever it's called. So I'm like, I can't do anything because these guys are going to get mad at me because I'm, this is what they're supposed to do. I'm paying them to do this, or the insurances. And then it's like, oh, I got to stay quiet. I got to not move, not flinch, nothing. Can't do nothing. And I'm just like, I'm dying here because the pain builds and builds and builds. Almost to the point where I'm like, I feel this, bro, like in my neck now. Like, why am I feeling this? I should have been numbed up. And then I'm like, oh, why is this happening? Like this should not be happening. I'm literally like feeling a sensation in my jaw that's like pain, shooting pain into my jaw. Like this must be like what it feels like when you have like a root canal or something like that, or a really bad toothache. I'm not sure. I've never had that before. But then I'm like, oh man, this is so uncomfortable. Finally it's done. And then I'm like, oh, thank God. And I'm like, and they asked me like, how'd it go? Like, you feel good? Like, do you feel anything? I'm like, no, nothing. I mean, I felt like something little bit, but like not much. Like yeah, sometimes we don't give you enough. We don't give enough of the whatever, the numbing drug. I'm like, yeah, whatever, no big deal. But it was a little bit painful. But then eventually it kind of slipped away, and I'm like, oh, thank God. But like after that, I've never had another cavity. Thank God. I'm 27 years old. I feel good in the mouth. Thank you, Jesus Christ. But then, yeah, and after that, I'm like, I got to take better care of my teeth. And I always really did. But then after that, I'm like, I'm not going to slip up again. I can't slip up because I don't want to go through that again. That is such a weird, it's such a weird thing to have all those people around you and just like, you're almost like in surgery, and like, and then again, I went to, maybe a couple years after that, I got my wisdom teeth taken out. And that was a bit more different. You see all those videos of how people get all loopy and drugged up on, whatever medicine that they use, and they're unconscious and all that. I wasn't like hallucinating when I did that, when I got mine done. I was just really, really tired. and really sleepy. And then after that, I was, fine. I wasn't like saying, like, asking stupid questions or anything like that. I was just like, oh man, I'm like groggy. I'm really like just tired, really. So I guess I wouldn't have made a good video if I posted on social media. It would have been pretty boring. But yeah, that was just like another thing. Like, obviously, I was gonna get them out either way. I mean, the doctor said like, yeah, you should get them out in case it causes like other damage to whatever. So I'm like, yeah, we'll do it, get it over with, and be done with it. So I got that done. But the worst part is after that is like, you really have to be eating like literally like baby food after. It is so bad. It's really, they don't tell you how like how annoyed you're going to be with after you get your wisdom teeth taken out, how just annoying it's going to be to eat food. Because like literally you start off with like, what I did was I got them out that day, went home, slept, make sure to keep up with my pain medication. And then after that, you just basically have a steady diet of like soft food, like applesauce, pudding, and all that. And then it's like, oh my God, dude, this sucks. Come on. A week goes by, and then you're like, okay, I can get like maybe a little bit more solid food, maybe like mashed potatoes or like I don't know, like a French fry or something soft, Nothing's too hard because you don't want to mess anything up, because you got to remember you have two, in my case 4 holes where they pulled out my wisdom teeth just open up, and maybe sometimes they'll bleed a little bit, and they're like, oh fuck, I fucked up, I messed up. But then that's why they give you the antibiotics so you don't get an infection. Thank God. Then after a while, you kind of edge on more and more and more, and you're like, okay, I can finally eat like a sandwich or something, and then like you move on to more solid foods. But one of the most annoying things about that surgery and about the process of recovering is like after that, they give you like a little syringe, and then they tell you to do this, like pretty sure after the first week or maybe soon after I got the operation, was you need to fill this up with lukewarm water and with salt, and then syringe your where they took the teeth out. And that was always a pain in the ass, man, because you never wanted to forget about it. Like, if you do, you're going to get some rot in your teeth, and like, oh man, I don't want to F this up. This is going to be really, really bad if I do. So that was just another thing that was like really like annoying about that. And it was just, oof, I did not like that. It was something that thank God I don't have to do again unless I get a bad tooth and have to take it out. But I don't think that I will have to do that ever again. But man, I just, especially with me, because I you know how much I love food and love like actual eating, like, not like super soft food all the time. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to eat like mashed potatoes and applesauce all day. I want to have like a burger, a pizza, chicken wings, good food, solid food. You know what I mean? So it was just like, oh, this is annoying. Thank God it was over. And if you can do it, you get that the operation when you're young, do it. Like, I remember, like, shoot, I don't even remember how old I was when I did it, but I was like maybe 20, 21. It was I was a bit older than I thought I should have been when I got it. I don't know when you're supposed to get them out, but like, oh, I just remember, like, because I was in college still, and I was like, I couldn't like take too many days off after the surgery because, I think I did it during like the winter break or Christmas break, so I was okay then. But like after that, I was like, well, I'm moving around and going to classes and all this, and I'm hungry as hell, but I can't really eat any good food, so I'm like, oh, I was dying, man. I was dying. Thank God it didn't last too long though. Whew. That was a little bit of a rant. Not even a rant, just a tangent of what it was. What was a toothpaste? And expensive things at the store. Yeah, not sure why they're raising the prices. Really not. I would feel like that they wouldn't be that expensive now that we're in like a pandemic time. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. Could be wrong. Might be wrong. Yeah, it's just like, who knows? Hopefully it gets better. $8 for toothpaste, man. God, that's so much. I wanted to talk about a little bit about WandaVision. Now, I brought it up a couple episodes ago, and I admitted that I was a big fan of the show. A big fan. I enjoyed the show. I enjoyed the development of WandaVision. I enjoyed what was happening. And by the way, we're going to get into spoilers right now. So the last 2 episodes, I think I reported on the podcast maybe after episode 6, I believe, when shoot, what happened there? I think it was Halloween. I think it might have been Halloween, and that was when we got introduced to the Quicksilver from the Fox universe of Marvel, the X-Men Quicksilver. I was like, this is really cool. I like this a lot. And then episode 7 and 8 go by, and I'm like, honestly, I think that the show for me has slipped a bit. Now, just a little bit, but it has slipped a bit, and I will tell you why. Why I feel that way. So, again, spoilers. We get into the nitty gritty. They continue with the paying the homage to television and all that. The episode 8 is when they go to like the Modern Family style television, which I'll be honest with you, I'm not a fan of that show. But I thought it was proper. It fit the way the show was going. It fit the way they were going in that direction. Now it was getting more real. They got that mockumentary type thing where they talk to the camera and all that. I enjoy that in some shows, but I wasn't a huge fan of it in this. It felt a little weird. I enjoyed the 50s sitcom and all that. The 90s was cool too, with the Malcolm in the Middle parody. That was pretty cool, even though I wasn't really a big fan of Malcolm in the Middle. But I thought that was fun. I thought I knew those shows. I knew the style. And I thought that was, funny. I liked that. It just didn't hit well with me with a Modern Family type show. I don't know. But we go into the show more, and then we figure out there's this lingering thing that's happening. Wanda is kind of losing the ability to control the reality that she's in. I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, well, who is it that it's too far spread out? Maybe she's losing her grip on it. What is happening, and who's the bad guy here? That was another thing that I was like wondering, like what is what's going on here? And then I've only seen the episode once, but correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section or whatever. But I think that this is the episode 8, when Vision is rescued by Kat Dennings' character, and they're trying to go back to Wanda. And what happens is and Monica Rambeau goes back in. She comes through the hex thing, and her eyes are lit up. She's all super now. I don't have a problem with it, but I think what was weird about it was when she went in, she had these little and I know that she's been going back in and out, in and out, in and out. But what was weird to me, and it was just I felt like it was really cliche in the way that they did it, was when she finally goes back in to get her powers, not knowing that she's getting them, she hears all these these voices in her head and all that, and it's just oh man, I've seen this so many times, man. I've seen that way so many times. I'm like, oh God. No disrespect on her getting her powers, but the way that it happened was oh my goodness, I've seen this before, man. Ugh. But I just thought that was a little bit done before, seen that before. Would have liked it if it was done a little bit differently. Not the way going back in, the way what was happening to her when she was going back in, getting the powers and hearing those voices of previous people in her life and all that. I was just okay, I've seen that many times already. I thought that they would have done better with that. Anyways, she gets her powers. She goes back in, and Wanda's trying to talk to her, or she's trying to talk to Wanda and all that. She's threatening her, get out of here. You don't know what you're doing. This is my thing. Get out. You're ruining it. Whatever. She's like, Wanda, no, I'm not here to ruin anything, or something like that. It's been a while since I've seen the episode. Then we get the big. Before I get into that, so Vision swaps or knocks Kat Dennings out of the reality and back to who she is. They're like, oh, we got to go to Wanda. We got to go save Wanda. We got to go to Wanda. Let's get to Wanda. And then in the midst of that, they go on this silly little journey of driving this big old carnival van through the town, and then they get stopped by all these what are they, reality things, I don't even know how to explain them, but these weird coincidences. There's a construction on the road. There's a school crossing. All this stuff to make it look funny and all that, and be cool. Like, haha, jokey joke. They're not gonna get to Wanda on time. And then, like, after a while, like, the show even knows that it's a silly thing that they're doing, and Vision just whoop flies out of the car, through the roof of the car, and all the way to Wanda. I'm like, oh my god, we just wasted so much time with Kat Dennings and Vision. Like, just what was that all about? Anyway, that was one of my bigger gripes. I was like, what happened there? I think I might be the only person on the planet who had a problem with that episode. I might have been. I don't know. I just felt like that was just so... Oh, man, it was... I don't know. I just thought that was just a waste of time, really. I mean, you get there, and then at the end of the episode 7, I believe, is when we see who the real villain is, who's the mysterious villain of the show. It turns out to be this the Agnes woman, Aggie or whatever her name is in the show. You know, the neighbor who's always been like, "Oh, hi neighbor, how you doing?" She turns out to be this villain that I've never even heard of, Agatha Harkness. And I'm not a comic book reader. I don't know this, so when I saw it, I was like, what the hell is this? What's going on here? And then I remember, I'm like, I can't be the only person that doesn't know who this person is. I just can't be the only person. So I remember after the episode, I'm like, okay, Agatha Harkness, whatever. She was fake Pietro or fake Quicksilver or whatever. You saw all these scenes of her, like, in the behind the scenes of doing all these things. So when Pietro comes into the show at the door, you see an offshoot of her, like, behind a mailbox, waving her fingers and doing magic. And like, oh, that was her magic the entire time. I was just like, oh, come on. Really? Like, at least drop a little bit of hints somewhere. Like, to me, personally, I had no idea it was her. I had no idea. I was just like, this chick is annoying. Please, like, I don't know why she's like this. Like, you know, I was just like, this can't be it. Really, this can't be it. And I was just thinking to myself, okay, so everything was fake? Was everything really fake? I was just like, oh man, I don't know about this. I was loving the show up until that point. I was like, oh man, they just conned me. They pranked me. They punked me. I was like, oh, come on, show. What are you doing? That was kind of my thoughts on the episode 7. And I was just like, what are we doing here? What's happening? I was enjoying it a lot. I thought I had a bit of a grasp on it finally. I guess nope. They're like, F you. You know nothing about this. You know nothing. I'm like, well, you fooled me. If that was your mission, you did it. And then, that was episode 7, and I was just like, that was okay. And I didn't like the whole twist thingy. I didn't like how I was thrown a loop. But, you know, there was still at that point 2 more episodes to go. I'm like, but I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt, though. I'm going to let you finish it up, because I'm not going to say I was going to tweet something like so stupid or say something so dumb on, you know, Twitter or Instagram, and be like, that was the worst thing ever. I understand that it is a show and I should judge it as an entire show season or whatever. At that point, there was 2 more episodes, and I was going to be like, all right, let's see how you do with the last 2 episodes. Then we get to episode 8, and it's a bit of a, it's still in the era of the modern TV, modern family type thing. But it doesn't even go to that shtick anymore with the structure of the show, the episode. That's all gone, really. So we get a little bit of a backstory on Agatha Harkness. She was apparently a witch in the Salem witch trials. Cool. And then she aged up. She didn't age or whatever. She stayed the same and is now in present day, pretty much like torturing or trying to figure out why Wanda does this, or showing Wanda the real magic of what you are. She's a witch, you know, hence the name Scarlet Witch. I forgot that it was even her name. I mean, like, they never really said Scarlet Witch. I don't even know what they called her. What's her name? They called her Wanda. Yeah, they would always call her Wanda. They would never really call her Scarlet Witch. So that kind of, like, that even blew over my head when I first saw the show. I'm like, oh wait, that's Scarlet Witch. That's her name. So I'm like, oh, you're a witch, Scarlet. You have all this magic. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I remember all that. And then I was, after that, you kind of figure out, like, then they do this very thing that I think a lot of shows do when they want to build up a character, is like the evil person will take the good person and cycle them, give them a little bit of a walk in the park through their past to see how they got there. And immediately I was like, this is filler. This is filler. Like, I'm just like thinking like, oh man. No, we don't know that much about Wanda, or this version of Wanda Maximoff in this show, this universe, whatever. We don't know that much. What we know is that she was an orphan. She was orphaned. She was brought into some scientific facility, studied, researched, and manipulated, broke out, joined the Avengers, and then we're here. So I think that in this filler episode, air quotes, we didn't really get all too much information on her. I think that we didn't. I mean, we got the whole TV obsession, which explains the show. Okay. And then we get a little bit about, I guess, like, what happened during that time, but we already kind of saw that, though, in the build-up movies to that. I mean, I just felt like I already knew the things that they were showing me. It felt so weird because I've seen those movies, Avengers, Age of Ultron, all the movies up to this point multiple times. So when I saw that, I'm like, okay, I already know this, though. I already know that she was orphaned by a Stark missile. I knew that from the movies already. I already knew this. And, you're just kind of rehashing a bit and filling in like small little details about the TV thing, and then like a little bit of the relationship with Vision. But I already knew that they liked each other, so I don't really know what to call this episode other than filler. I don't know. To me, it felt like filler. But in the end, it was good filler, because it brought that relationship between Wanda and Vision together even stronger. I think it did a very good job of defining the characters, but it was something I already kind of knew, though, not just from like the previous movies, but from the previous episodes. I already knew that, though. So in the end of the day, I'm like, oh man, it was cool, and then at the end we get like this. Turns out that when Vision was going through the hex wasn't killing Vision. It was just showing him what he would be in that reality, in the real world. And I was like, whoa, okay, I get that now. That's cool. I remember that. And I just thought that the hex was killing him, like disintegrating him, but it was just showing him what he would be like in the real world. And I was like, okay, I understand that. And that's cool. But for me, that episode 8, it just felt like filler. I'm sorry. We can disagree all day. You can say it was the best thing ever. That's awesome. That's cool. I know that a lot of people liked that episode. I just thought it was a bit filler. It was nice. It's nice to get a little bit of a background on Agatha, or Agnes, whatever you want to call her. But to me, it was just like, I already kind of knew all that about, aside from the TV show thing, I already kind of knew all that about Wanda and Vision. I don't know. I just feel like I already knew that stuff. But, tonight or tomorrow morning, whenever you watch it, WandaVision Season 1, I think, will conclude with their final episode, Episode 9. I've heard things that they're going to release another episode. I've heard things about that. I don't think that that's true. I think that's full of baloney. But, never say never. It could happen. I'll tell you another thing I don't like about the show, and it's not just this show in particular. I don't like this in The Mandalorian, and I don't like this in WandaVision. I don't like how Disney Plus is just all willy-nilly with the runtimes of these episodes. I hate that. That bothers me so much, because I get the indication, I get the feeling that this episode might be crap, or it might be good. I don't know. I don't like that. I just wish that they were all an hour long. And it's not even a thing that the short episodes are bad. It's just like I just get like so I start to think about what's going to be in the episode. I think that, oh my, if it's a half an hour, it's not going to be very good, or if it's 40 minutes, it's going to be great. You know what I mean? Like I that just kind of I just get that feeling. My brain goes into these weird things where it thinks like, oh, the time limit's going to affect the episode quality, which it doesn't, and just like And ever since The Mandalorian just came out, I was just like, I don't like it. I don't like it. I wish that they were all like an hour long or 42 minutes, 48 minutes, whatever. And I was just like, oh man, I don't know. It's just something I got to get over with. But I've been struggling with it because I'm just like, I don't like it one bit. That was just a silly thing that I was angry about, but it's no big deal. It really is no big deal. What I don't like though, what I really don't like, which is so really silly and it's so stupid. I really don't like how long the credits are in WandaVision. Because they're like 6 freaking minutes long. They're like 6 minutes long. I'm like, what? Why? Why are they so long? I'm thinking like, bro, like, okay, one of the episodes was like 36 minutes. The episode ends like around the 29th minute. Like, what are we doing here? Like, I'm watching it on a streaming service. So, on my computer or my tablet. So I'm tapping the screen and seeing how much time we got left in this bitch. I'm thinking like, what's going to happen? There's still time. Boop, credits, done. Wait, there's 6 minutes left. What are you doing? This is all credits? How dare you? Another thing that kind of made me mad. But it's nothing really. If you think about it, nothing I complain about on this podcast is really affects anything. It's just a petty thing that I complain about. Nothing really. Luigi? Come on. But I think it's kind of funny though. I think it's kind of funny that Marvel is so full of themselves in some ways that their credits have to be so miraculous like their films. You know what I mean? I just feel like it's a show. Just let it be a show. Don't let it be a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie type quality credits. It's a show, man. We got 9 of these episodes. Just make them simple credits. They don't got to be so flashy. And I hate because previous 2 episodes I've had to skip forward in the credits because I don't want them to pull a fast one on me. I don't watch the credits. I just, I watched like the first couple credits when there was nothing in the middle. And I'm like, okay, well, I remember like this one is super long credits, so there's got to be something in there. So I just kind of get my cursor and kind of go through the timeline, and I see like a little bit of a glimpse of a frame of something, and I'm like, oh, I got to go back and see that. It's crazy. It's something so small, but it just irks me. It's just, I don't know, man. I can't be the only person who gets mad at those credits, though. How long they are. They're just so long. It's like, God damn, really? Come on. Now I think it's a good time that we jump into sports. All right, so sports. What do we got today? Well, I covered it a couple episodes ago. J.J. Watt, where he's going to go, where he's going to be. Is he going to be a Green Bay Packer? He's going to be a Buffalo Bill, a Cleveland Brown, Pittsburgh Steeler. Where's he going to go? What's he going to do? Now, I already laid to you what I wanted to see, or what I think he would do, between the Bills and the Browns. I thought that for sure. Like, well, those teams pretty much put him in contention to win a Super Bowl next year. One of the favorites, I think, of the AFC. Green Bay is also another one. Going back home, Aaron Rodgers, Green Bay Packers, Lambeau Field, got it all. Depending on, obviously, like, what's the deal going to be? 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, whatever, We needed that. We didn't have the information at the time. But again, like how JJ is with his social media, if you follow him, he's a bit of a goofy guy. He's a bit of a I don't even know how you would categorize him as this. He's a lowercase tweeter. He begins sentences with a lowercase letter, and every sentence after that, lowercase letter. I don't know what that is or how they do that, but they must have gone to quite the extent to do that, because if I'm seeing his tweets, they're tweeted on an iPhone, and an iPhone by default capitalizes the first letter of every sentence automatically. So JJ, I understand that you want to be unique. I understand that you want to be different, but that gets on my nerves. And again, I am doing this little rant on something so petty and stupid. That's what I do, though. I really hate when people don't capitalize their words or their letters on Twitter. I hate that. You know grammar? You know grammar. Use it, please. I know that Twitter's not official. It's not real life. And you shouldn't really... capitalization and punctuation shouldn't be all that, much of a big deal. Maybe it should, maybe it shouldn't. But at least capitalize the first letter in the sentence, please. I mean, for God's sakes. You went to school, right? You've written a letter, right? You've written a document, an essay? Please. Come on, use your head. Anyway, he decided to take to Twitter to announce where he was going. And it was a picture, and it said, source, me. And he was in the facility of the Arizona Cardinals, what it seemed to be working out in their with their gear on. So our boy J.J. Watt is going to the Cardinals. He'll be reuniting with his former teammate, star wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins, for a 2-year deal worth $31 million with a $23 million guarantee at signing. And my boy's going to get cash money, bro. He's going to cash in. He's going to be feeling good, living life. He's going to be living in Arizona where it's sunny, not like Houston, who just got snow, which, again, is a bad thing. I hope everybody did okay with the snow. I hope everybody was trying to be safe, and I hope everybody has their power back, and I wish everybody who was in that situation all the best. My prayers and thoughts. But he's going to go to Arizona. He's going to be a Cardinal. Going to be the Sun. He's going to have a good time. He's going to be, he's, if you don't know this, he'll be joining a fellow pass rusher by the name of Chandler Jones. I don't know this guy. I have no idea who he is. I don't pay attention to the Cardinals really at all, except for Kyler Murray. Stud, I think. Good quarterback. But when I heard the news of the Cardinals, I was a bit shocked. It was a little, caught me off guard, for sure. Nobody would have thought that. And I'm thinking like, is he in the mentality of winning a Super Bowl now? Thinking about that. Now, I know for a fact he must know who their head coach is. He must know who he is. Know what he's capable of. We're talking about Cliff Kingsbury of the Arizona Cardinals. My opinion, a bit overrated. In fact, a bit trashy. I think that he's called some very bonehead plays. Made some poor decisions. And to be honest with you, dude looks pretty handsome. I'll give him that. He was definitely an eye looker or a eye mover, whatever you want to call it. Definitely attracts people. He's a good looking dude. Looks like he's in shape. Cool guy. But I don't know about his football knowledge. Definitely haven't seen that last season or the season before that. Or even when he was at Texas Tech, he didn't even have like the best record. So that's a bit in question. But in any case, it all depends that JJ's happy. And his happiness is probably different than mine would have been. I would have been happier if I saw him signed with the Buffalo Bills, Green Bay Packers, Steelers of Pittsburgh, Cleveland Browns, anybody. I mean, I don't necessarily think that the Arizona Cardinals are necessarily or in a contention for the Super Bowl, I think. I look at their division, I see the 49ers, who could be on a bounce-back season. My Rams, who just signed Matthew Stafford. Seahawks with Russell Wilson. Maybe not. So, I mean, I definitely... It is a 2-year deal. See, he's definitely going to get paid. No doubt about that. Maybe that was a reason. Maybe that was where he wanted to... that security, I'm going to get some big money here. Maybe he doesn't want to win a ring. I always thought he would have. Maybe it was, his intentions were to get paid. You think about it, he's 32. The reason I think that the Texans said, okay, walk, is because I think that they, deep down they said, this guy's best years are behind him. His best years are when he was 25, 27, 28, especially when he wasn't injured. They probably thought that. I wouldn't. I think he's a good player on the field and off the field. Off the field, he's so. I think he can bring people together, make sure that they're staying the course, make sure that they're not, going off and doing things that they shouldn't be doing. But maybe he didn't have like the same drive that people do when they want to get a ring. I don't know. Maybe he does. Maybe he sees something that I don't see. I mean, I look at Kingsbury or Cliff Kingsbury, the head coach, Kyler Murray, stud, DeAndre Hopkins, probably the best receiver in the league. Chandler Jones, cool. J.J. Watt, sweet. I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe he must see something that I don't see. But the big thing that for me is Cliff Kingsbury. In these moments where they seem to be good, and when they beat the Buffalo Bills with the Hail Murray, it looks so sweet, cruising. At the end of the stretch last season, my eyes, they kind of crumbled. And most of those were because of Cliff Kingsbury calling boneheaded plays, man. I don't know, though. I have no idea. We'll see what happens. I don't think that this is still a shock to me. I never would have expected him to go to the Arizona Cardinals. Never would have in my life. We'll see. It's 2 years, $23 million guaranteed. So, woohoo, JJ, you did well. One more thing on sports is the quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, Baker Mayfield, today, Thursday, this day, tweeted that he saw a UFO. Folks, I don't know if you heard me, but I said he saw a UFO today. Claims it was a bright light that just dropped out of the sky. Bright ball of light. Now, there's no video. All it is just a tweet from him and his wife saying, like, I saw this, and this was something that I've never seen before. I'll definitely remember it. It was, like, over Lake Travis, and I would assume that's in Ohio, maybe. Maybe it didn't say where it was. It just said Lake Travis, over Lake Travis. Might be Ohio, might be not. I don't know. I'm just speculating because he's a Brown. But he says he saw a UFO, and I was thinking, like, I saw this video on the ESPN YouTube channel. I'm thinking, is ESPN about to freaking, like, dive into UFOs? Like, I gotta see this. And it was probably one of the most funniest videos I've ever seen. It started with Greeny saying, Greeny is Mike Greenberg, saying that, pulling up a tweet, the quarterback of the Cleveland Browns is looking to see what his future lies ahead. And also, today he tweeted that he saw a UFO. And then they go on to talk about Baker Mayfield, not about the UFO at all. And every time they kind of would play like a overlaying music over, like where they would see like a highlight of Baker Mayfield, they would show like the picture of his tweet, and that's it. Like I was just like thinking like, oh man, they're running this joke, and it's kind of funny, but it's also kind of. He also said he saw a UFO, so I would want to hear what he has to say about that. I mean, I think that would be pretty cool. Maybe be on the Pat McAfee show soon. But I thought that was kind of funny. It was a little bit of a poking fun at the whole UFO thing, because we don't know if they're real. They might not be real. I know that, everybody else knows that, and we all just kind of poke at it and have fun with it. I would like them to be real. You know that for sure. But it's just poking fun. We're just having fun. I thought that was kind of funny how they just went back to that tweet every time they would break. Like, you would expect them to show a highlight or a play of his in football, but it would just go to that tweet and be like, dun, 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 when they're talking. Just like, it's kind of funny. Last bit of things today. I'm going to go to the entertainment realm. There were some posters, or pictures, I think. Yeah, pictures that were being tweeted and spread around about the new Space Jam movie starring LeBron James as LeBron James. And Bugs Bunny as Bugs Bunny. Space Jam, I think it's called The Next Legacy, or something like that. Space Jam 2. The sequel to Space Jam, starring Michael Jordan as Michael Jordan, and Bugs Bunny as Bugs Bunny. But I'll be honest with you. Space Jam, the first one, is a cult classic, in my opinion. It was released in 1996, and you got to remember why this makes it maybe just even a classic, in my opinion. A classic. Why this makes it a classic. First of all, it comes out in 1996, so you know it filmed in 1995. The Bulls were dominating in that time, that era, dominating the NBA. Michael Jordan was he was like an international superstar. He was so popular all over the world, not just in America, but in everywhere. He was so popular, and he was a national icon, international icon. And he was so popular. Air Jordan, Nike, the Bulls, his name in general, Wheaties, the Olympics, all that. The Dream Team was part of. He was everything at that time. He was just a superstar. The world was captivated by this one person, this incredible athlete who took when he came to the NBA, he was looked upon as being too small, too weak, not strong enough to play against the best of the best. He worked his ass off. He took everything personal. With like, I can beat you at this. He was super competitive. It was crazy. If you saw The Last Dance, you know what I'm talking about. Incredible documentary on Michael Jordan and the 90s Bulls, the 2 3-peats, 6 championships. Incredible story of Michael Jordan. And literally when that movie Space Jam came out, it was towards the end of the good old days, but it was still in the mix with the good old days. Like 95, they still won another one after that, I think. Maybe 2. But like, you got to remember, it also didn't just have Michael Jordan. It had also a great cast of characters in it. Not talking about just Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck, Porky Pig, and all them. But like, it also had 90s icons, 90s and even 80s icons. I mean, you had Larry Bird in it. You had Patrick Ewing. You had Charles Barkley, all in the movie. You had, even to the actors, you had Bill Murray, and you had Wayne Knight. In that time, he was big as Newman in Seinfeld. So you had a bunch of entertainment all-stars in that movie, not just actors, but athletes too, and even cartoon characters. So you got to remember that Space Jam, at the time when it came out, it was just a big melting pot of pop culture. It's incredible. So you got to know, when that came out, all those little elements that I just said made together a big 90s pop culture movie just play out for you right then and there. It's incredible. It's really fun to watch. It's a good family movie and all that. And I just don't think that this new movie, I could be incredibly wrong with it, but I don't know anybody who's in it besides, I think, obviously LeBron James and the cartoon characters, but I'm not sure who else is in it. So that's going to be another big thing, is like, and the story was funny because it took place in the time when Michael Jordan was playing baseball, and that his realization that he sucked at baseball, should play basketball, was through the Looney Tunes Toon Squad versus the Monstars game. So that was kind of funny how that kind of tied into the real life thing and made it like sort of funny. Like, oh, you know how Michael Jordan came back to basketball? Well, he beat the Monstars and won back his freedom, because he was about to be a slave on what was it, Moron Mountain. Hello. It's so funny. It's so cool. And I remember back in the day, when I was doing the Out of the Ordinary Friends podcast, I was talking to my brother Andrew, and we were talking about like, what could we possibly see in Space Jam 2? Like, how would it go? Would it be modern day, today, present, him as a Laker, or is he going to be a Cavalier, member of the Miami Heat? How's it going to go down? I think Andrew said, like, what if it does kind of like do that same thing, but it takes LeBron in Miami, that last thing, they kind of like go like off, like he lost to the Heat in his final year after the 2 championships, and then it goes does that same thing where LeBron is in a bit of a dismay, where he's going to go and he realizes he should go back home to Cleveland and win the NBA Finals there for Cleveland. And I think that's what he said. I might have been wrong. Maybe it was the decision of going to Miami, but maybe I think it was that, and kind of have that same kind of arc that Michael Jordan sort of had with baseball and basketball, but with Miami going from the Heat to the Cavaliers again. I think that might have been it, but I could be wrong. But I think that would have been a cool thing, sort of paralleling the thing, but not having like a a super on the nose remake, which I think might happen with this new one. So I don't know, that could be fun. I would watch the hell out of that. Get in some good players like I don't know, Kyrie Irving, Carmelo Anthony, probably not Kobe Bryant. Rest in peace. Depends. I don't even know when they shot it, so it's been a while. Probably not Kobe. Rest in peace. But yeah, that would be fun. I think. I don't know if they'll do that. I doubt it. I think that they would just do it like how he is right now. Probably take place in present day as a Laker. I mean, I'm not saying that he just won a championship, but I think that if Andrews pitched that was it, that would have been a lot pretty. I think that would have been a much more compelling and engaging story of how he goes back home and wins the ship there. I think that'd be pretty cool. And then it would be like in the credits, like the end credits would say like a little bit of a tribute to like, and LeBron James went on to win the championship in the first one for Cleveland in this many years. And then I think that would be pretty cool. Heartwarming, kind of ties into the whole thing of Space Jam, of coming back and doing the thing that you like and doing winning things and all that. That'd be pretty cool. I don't know. I probably won't do that, but that's what I would think. But that wasn't the only thing that I saw on today about Space Jam. Now Space Jam, if you grew up with it, like I did. Now I didn't watch it when it first came out. Maybe in 99, 2000 when I first saw it. Maybe 98. I can't remember. I didn't see my first movie wasn't until I saw in the theater, at least. It wasn't until I saw Dinosaur. You remember Dinosaur? Disney's Dinosaur? That all CGI movie with the dinosaurs and the lemurs escaping the lemur island. And, that movie was the first one I saw in theaters. And so they what I've been seeing lately about Space Jam is they release pictures of LeBron with the new characters, and everybody looks fine. But people are getting a little bit, I wouldn't say up in arms, but I would say a little weird when it comes to Lola Bunny. Now, for those of you who do not know this, didn't watch Space Jam, or don't remember it, Lola Bunny, I think that was her introduction to Warner Brothers Looney Tunes universe, I believe. And she essentially was like Bugs Bunny's girlfriend or Bugs Bunny's wife, or in the end. I'm not even sure. Maybe even just a friend. I don't know. They did kiss, so I'm not sure. But she was introduced as like this, I don't even know, man. How would you even describe it? It's a freaking bunny. You would like the love interest to Bugs Bunny, kind of a, I don't even know, good-looking bunny, I guess. It's just a fucking bunny. I don't know. But like, you would see they play like this sexy music whenever she walked up the first time. Like, nah, 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 nah. Like that. I'm like, okay, what is going on here? And at the time, I was like, okay, Lola Bunny is a fucking bunny. And she likes bugs. Obviously, that makes total sense because they're flirting with each other. And she's obviously like the best player of the Toon Squad besides Michael Jordan. So like, okay. And they kind of would, watching and looking at Twitter today, when you see pictures of the now and then the 1996 version. So you look at them and then you're like, well, I mean, what do you want? It's a fucking bunny, bro. Why do you even care about that? People are saying like, oh, you took away Lola Bunny's sexiness. Why would you do that? Like, it's a fucking cartoon. What do you care? It's a cartoon bunny. Why does that even matter? Like, literally, like, people are like up in arms over this thing. It's like, what are you doing? This is a fucking cartoon. Who cares what it looks like? You know what I mean? Like, and I understand that there might be some people out there that, and if you've been around the internet for the past at least 10 years, you've seen some shit when it comes to cartoon-like animals. So I've seen some shit. Not at will. Just there. Like, you go on to Reddit. I used to be on iFunny. You see this shit. No, not even knowing it's going to come up. So I've seen some stuff. Alright, so I guess that's why they did it. But, like, it's like, oh, dude, who cares? Who cares? It's just Lola Bunny. Do you have a poster of Lola Bunny on your on your wall in your room. If you're an adult, you should probably take that down, please. Do you have a shrine of Lola Bunny from 1996 Space Jam? Do you have an action? Do you think about Lola Bunny in the 1996 Space Jam every day? Like, oh, I remember Lola Bunny. Yeah, that was so cool. I like Lola Bunny. Oh yeah. Do you really do you think about her that much? Do you even care about her change of not being so sexy? I can't believe I just said that. In the newest Space Jam, do you really care that much about that? I don't think you do. I think you're just trying to find something to outrage about, trying to get mad about, trying to have attention drawn to you. I really don't think that you actually care about that. There's no way, because I think I'll check right now on Twitter, and if I'm wrong, if I'm right, I will be actually stunned to see this. I'm going to go to Explore, Trending, what's happening, go to Trending tab right now, live on the podcast. Let's see, where is it? Before I recorded, Lola Bunny was number 1. Lola Bunny is now at number 9 on Trending. People are sharing their feelings, what they think about Lola Bunny. I don't care. What is it? People share their feelings about Lola Bunny following new released images from Space Jam: A New Legacy. Okay, there we go. We have the title right there. I don't care. I don't care. And I don't think you cared either. You didn't care. You weren't thinking about Lola Bunny all the way up until this point when they released the photo. You didn't care. You did not care. There's no way you cared. There's no way you even thought about that. You probably even forgot about Space Jam: A New Legacy. You probably did. You saw this and you're like, oh, why is she not a look like this from the 1996 version? Who cares, bro? Who gives a damn? Okay, this is funny. So there's a post that says Lola Bunny is trending, and then she posts a picture of the cops in SpongeBob saying, calm down, son, it's just a drawing. Exactly. It's just a drawing. It's nothing to freaking outrage about. You're only making this because you want attention and you're bored. That's why you're doing it. So there's no way that any of these people, and if you have a problem, you can comment. If you actually cared that much about Lola Bunny, I'm sorry, but not sorry. I'm not going to apologize for that. You shouldn't care about Lola Bunny that much. You really shouldn't. Especially now, just to tweet everything about it. Get it to number 1 trending. Now, after you've seen the new art for it. Oh, really? You care about that more than anything else? Lola Bunny? I'm done. See, that's the thing, though. These little things that in the world that cause me to outrage about it. And it's not even like a real outrage, really. I mean, it's just kind of funny. It's all funny. It's all fun and games. You think about it, it's just like, oh, all these people really cared about Lola Bunny. I didn't know that. Maybe she has a church or a cult gathering everybody who likes Lola Bunny. Come to my house. We'll have a meet and greet. Lola Bunny fans. I didn't know that. Maybe they did. I don't know. But to find it, like, to trend number 1 for a while, none of those fuckers cared about Lola Bunny all that much. They don't care. They just want something to complain about. Whether it be, she's not so sexual now. Now she's a strong woman, or now she's a regular woman, or her sexiness did this or that, or did that or the other. Who cares? It's a fucking cartoon. It's just a cartoon. Let it be what it is. It is for children, not adults. It is for children. It has a goddamn Looney Tunes. Bugs Bunny, for like a 99% of the show, doesn't wear clothes. Porky Pig never wears pants. It's a cartoon. Let it be a cartoon. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for watching. Hope this was a fun one. Hope we had a good time. If you would do me such a favor right now, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, you click on my show, Intelligent Moron with Alex Silva, and you're listening to this is episode 5, by the way. You scroll down, whether it be you listen on your phone, tablet, there is an option. If you scroll all the way down, right, I'm going to do it with you live on the podcast. If you scroll down on Intelligent Moron, on that thing, on the tab, on the cover art, you will find an option it's called ratings and reviews. You could tap that number 5 star and write a review about the podcast. That would help so much. As far as I know, Apple Podcasts is the only platform that allows rating and reviewing. Spotify does not. So if you could do that on Apple Podcasts, I would greatly appreciate that. Thank you for, and also continue to watch it on YouTube. We'll be getting video. Promise you that I will be getting video. I've been practicing right now, if you can't tell, but I have to figure out a way to address the camera more because I'm trying to figure out a way to not make it so awkward because I need to learn how to do that. I need to learn how to look at the camera when I talk, look at the, try not to look down or not at the camera. I'm practicing right now. So thank you for waiting. Please bear with me, but it will happen. But thank you guys so much for listening. Don't forget to subscribe, like, rate, review, and all the things. You can catch it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube at Intelligent Moron with Alex Silva. And I will see you next week.